Do you want to sit down with a notorious mobster? Perhaps you've thought about it, or you're just a really big fan of The Godfather. Well, now you can with our exclusive virtual experience. You won't want to miss out on this incredible opportunity.
Hey guys, I'm Sammy the Bull. I'm excited to chat with you guys. Can't wait to get started. I'm an open book. Feel free to ask me any questions you want. Just don't cross me.
This is a one-of-a-kind experience that allows you to ask Sammy anything you've ever wanted to know.
Great talking to you. Adios, motherfuckers.
Who knows what secrets might be revealed? Book your virtual sit-down with Sammy the Bull today. Do you want to sit down with a notorious mobster?
You're live, Sammy.
Hey guys, you caught me lighting up. Hey, here we go on another Monday. All kinds of things going on. I still have my cold a little bit. We had great meetings in California, like I told you, and I came back with a cold. I can't shake this fucking thing. So anyway, there's a lot to talk about. Should I talk about the first thing over here?
Yeah.
All right. You know, I got a ton of calls. We put out T-shirts. These here T-shirts. This one here is a picture of me from when we did the Mafia States of America. And so it has a little bit of a history to it. They're selling out like crazy. This one here, me and President Trump T-shirt. It's Trump Gravano. So Trump is going to be the president. I'll be the vice president. I'm thinking maybe it should be the other way around, but maybe he knows a lot more than I know. So this is selling out. They really did. They sold out like crazy. And this one here, you know, this is crazy because this is my son's license plate. And they put it on here. And I mean, it's all in the head. Am I tipping it? I'm getting my son in trouble. But it's his license plate. We were goofing on it. It went on a T-shirt, and it's selling like crazy too. So if you want to get them, get them. If you can't get them, we reordered already. They're on their way. We're getting them soon. And they are good T-shirts. I'm wearing it. It is a good T-shirt. That's what I was more involved with than the pictures and everything like that, was the quality of the T-shirt. It's a good T-shirt. I got one on myself. And it is a good T-shirt. Very, very comfortable. And when I went out with this T-shirt, I've had women stop me all over the place and, you know, grabbing my sleeve and pulling it. Where'd you get that? So they're like sexy T-shirts. I'm bullshitting a little bit. All right. So, but they're great T-shirts, and they have, if you're having a hard time getting it, I get it. They were sold out. We,
Over the weekend.
yeah, right over the weekend. They just sold right out. It was amazing. I never thought it would move that fast. But we ordered already, so just keep trying and you'll get them. And I think they're great, good quality, everything like that. Lily must like it because she was laying on it with her head nice and comfy. One of them, not mine, the other one. So, all right, what else are we doing here? What are we talking about?
Your virtual sit-downs, we just threw an ad up there right now. They're still on sale, half off.
Half off, original sale. We're keeping it half off, so you could jump on it. Well, what is it? It's $300, so you could pay. I'm only teasing. All right.
We're like Sammy.
Oh, and the door. You know what's funny too is like people order them and you can record them and you get your file if you would like. I will send it to you. But people have been coming on here like virtual book reports and they send it. So they show their class. They're interviewing business, mafia, like historical figure. You know, it's really cool. They're getting really creative.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, to hear all of that, and I love that stuff. You know, when you talk and we talk about different things, we talked about different times when this should come out, and we're studying all of that. A lot of people like Saturday, some people like Sunday, some people wanted to stay on a Monday. So we've been doing all of those little research things, and I appreciate so many of you called in and said your piece, what you wanted, and it's good. It's real good.
Cool.
So do we want to start on
Do you want to start on? Yeah.
the ones that we
I
didn't
got
answer the last time and go to the new ones?
Yeah. What'd you do over the weekend, Sammy? Were you just chilling, getting over your cold?
Just, I did a lot of rest
Good.
and stayed in bed as much as I could. Went out to the gym to take a shower and stuff like that. I went to Philly's sports bar, and they make some great cheeseburgers and stuff like that. I didn't feel like cooking, so I ran out and grabbed that. It was great. Really nothing, but hung around, got some calls, did my little thing. I know on the 6th we have a big meeting with the Hollywood stuff, and can't wait for that.
Another OC Shorts is coming up.
We have an OC Shorts, another one. He was getting in touch with me, and we were talking back and forth. We have one coming out soon. Tremendous topics. The guy does great research. I got to give it to him. I mean, he comes up with stuff that sometimes, I'm dazed with the stuff he comes up with. And then he tells me he's going to do these subjects and stuff like that. I agree. It gives me time to think about it. Some of them are such good questions. I could only go so far because they're going to be in my scripted show, the whole part. But I'm going to talk about part of them anyway, So it's going to be a very interesting show, I think, for sure. I like his questions, and straightforward. And he don't just ask me a question. He does research, and he knows what he's talking about when he asks me a question. He's very thorough. I like that about him. We got quite a few on our last one. I think we got over 200,000 between us. Got over 200,000 views, and that was pretty good. They were loving him. I got a little jealous, but I tell you the truth, everybody was loving on him. So, but it was good. That's what it was about. He doesn't need me. I don't need him. But I think he got a lot of my viewers who thought the world of him. He puts out good shows, good content. He's not snippy about people. He just puts out evidence, proof of things. So it's really, really good.
You ready for last week's questions?
Yes.
Cool. Let's kick it off. Okay, first we have Twin Lucky from last week asks, Sammy, I'm 43, been a criminal all my life since my mom passed away when I was 19. I can't imagine working a real job. I tried a car lot with my twin. He was killed a year ago. Any ideas for legit money? Wish I served under you.
A great question. I mean, I don't know how your brother got killed, but the illegitimate life, there's a lot of things. You can get killed. There's a lot of ways you can be killed or reasons for it, and you can go to prison. So if you're looking at a legit way to make money, that's a very good thing. And there is so many ways. There's all kinds of construction trades that you can go into. Everybody needs people, handymen, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, you name it. There's all kinds of industries that you can make money with, services that you can make money with. There's car service type of things like YouTube, Uber drivers and stuff like that. There's a million ways of making legitimate money. You just got to use your ideas, put them forward, and it's a lot of hard work. But that's the way to make money. There's legitimate in everything. A podcast, there's so many things, but it takes time and effort to put it together and do it. My friend, you're on the right track. At least you're asking the right questions.
Perfect. We have Demi Vitale asks, was there anyone besides Roy DeMeo that gave you the chills?
There really wasn't too many people who gave me the chills. Roy DeMeo didn't give me the chills either. I knew him and I was pretty friendly with him. I'm going to show you an example that people thought I was a little more close to him than I was. Frankie the Chico, John Gotti got the hit to kill Roy DeMeo. He got a little nervous about it, Paul picked up on it, took it away from him, and gave it to Frankie the Chico. Frankie the Chico called me up and said, bro, I got Roy's ticket. I said, I'll come down to Bath Avenue, I'll talk to you. Roy's ticket, I knew exactly what that was. He had the contract on him. So I went down and saw Frankie. I said, bro, you need help? They're all dangerous there. He said, no, I got this. I got the twins, his 2 top guns, talked to them, told them, if they do the job, we'll take the contract off for you guys. And so I said, well, I'm with you, you know that. If you need me, just give me a holler. And be careful with this. And the twins did it. They killed him, they put him in the trunk. There was a chandelier in the car. They put it on top of him, closed him in. That's the way they found him. We did take the contract off of, when I say we, it's not me, it was the Gambino family, put the contract off of them. They did what they were supposed to do. Eventually, we transferred the twins to the Lucchese family, the gas pipe at them. He liked them, he wanted them, we gave them up. So they went to prison. Matter of fact, one of them has been out a while. He got some sort of release. And the other one is coming out in April. He got some sort of a release too. So both of them will be coming out. They're both still alive. I hope they change their lives. They were extremely dangerous, both of them. But they got the opportunity. They got a good taste. They've been in prison for a long fucking time. Maybe they could change their life around and go forward. I wish them luck. I knew both of them. So,
Okay.
but he didn't give me the chills. So I was getting to that point when Paul called me to the house, and I was having coffee, and he pushed a newspaper near me and said to me, read that article and tell me what you think. And the article was, they found Roy DeMeo in the trunk of a car. And I knew as I was reading, he was testing me, because he knew we had some sort of a relationship. You know, he wanted to see if I would say, whoever killed him, Paul, I'll get even, I'll kill them. You fucking falling into a bad trap. But I didn't, I looked at it, I knew what he was doing, he was testing me. And I said, Paul, if you're mad, I'm mad. I don't really give a fuck. The guy was a serial killer, a fucking nut. Don't matter to me. Okay, and he started talking to me about union stuff and everything. But just goes to show, he thought I was real close with him. So I wasn't afraid of him, I just thought he was off the wall. Some people lose their fucking mind. Gas pipe was like that too. So it's not that he gave me the chills, I didn't trust him. Because when somebody's killing for no fucking reason, other people, legitimate people, how could you trust him? How could you even like him anymore? So it's not that he gave me the chills, I didn't want to be around him.
Okay. I have Danny Murphy. He says, just a big respect to Sammy, Amina, and Anna, and the crew, and everyone on the chat for all the well wishes for my granddad last week. The 88-year-old tough nut is coming out of the hospital and home tomorrow. Much love to everyone. So if you remember last week, Danny was at the hospital.
I do remember.
Yeah, and he was tuning in. And you
Danny,
asked how old his granddad was. He's 88.
88. Congrats, bro. I mean, I'm glad he came out, and I'm glad everything is working out for you. I hope he goes to 98. I mean, and more, but at least 98, as long as he's healthy.
Okay, we have Paul. Paul says, Sammy, you said Tato was an exceptional captain due to how well respected and liked he was. Did he have a bigger crew than most captains in the family due to that?
Well, when Tommy Rava was killed, Anastasia and then Tommy Rava, Tato was the one who killed Tommy Rava. And he became very close, very close to Carlo Gambino. He took some of those guys with him, under him, and he did have a pretty big crew. I don't know if he had the biggest crew, but he had a pretty big crew, and he was extremely close to Carlo Gambino.
Okay. Xavier San Diego says, Sammy, how much walking do you do?
Walking,
Walk to my office every day.
I walk, listen,
Walk to the fridge.
I have these special boots, and these boots are made for walking, and that's just what they do. Some of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Boop, 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 boop.
You should get up
So,
and dance
I
with
don't
us.
know. I did a lot of walking. I do a lot less now. I should be doing more, but I did a lot of walking. And walking is good. I used to jog for a while. Now I can't jog. I got a bad back. I'm up in age. So I do a little bit of walking. And I walk around even when nobody's here. I wind up talking to myself, and I walk from one area to my, I got a big office, and I walk from one area to the other area. Lily tires out. She like tells me, "You're gonna stop walking or what?" So I don't do too much walking anymore.
Hang on. Is it? Okay. Okay. J. Marie says, Boss, do old school guys bring you a little gift when they visited you in recent years to show respect? If I ever visit you, if I ever visit your office, I'm definitely bringing you a little envelope.
I would appreciate that. You know, in an Italian way, a mob way, it's a sign of respect. When I visit people, I'll bring them a bottle of wine, or I'll bring them something, you know, food, or, you know, cake or something. It's just a thing of respect, whether it's money, whether it's a gift, whatever it is. It's a sign of respect. When I met with the Mexican guys at one time, and they invited me to their home, I told a whole long story about it. I'm not going to get into it. I went and go buy sausage, Italian sausage and stuff like that. I went to their little party. I brought it in. I met their wives, their kids, people. So it's just something you do. It's showing a sign of respect. So I would appreciate that, bro. It's not the amount, or it's a sign of respect.
Okay, we have Steve Jackson. Hey, Sammy, what would you and Frankie have done differently as boss and underboss had you taken Gotti out?
Everything. I mean, I really a lot of things. I think we would have been more Cosa Nostra, and less. We wouldn't have been out there. You wouldn't have saw all that flash, all of that stuff. I know that Frankie wasn't like that at all. I definitely wasn't like that. So you would have never seen all of that. It just brought too much heat. It hurt the mafia. We're a secret society. That's the way we were brought up. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be. You have an illegal organization and we're doing illegal things. Why would you want the news media and the feds and the government on your back all the time? I think we would have did mostly everything different than he did. So I'm not saying the end wouldn't be the same, because they're on you anyway. I think it would have been a little less. We might have lasted a little longer, I think. Who knows? There's guys out there who lasted a very, very long time. You know, there's a lot of bosses. Tony Ducks, Fat Tony, Chin. They didn't do any of that. None of them. None of them. Even Joe Messina, when he became the boss, especially the real old timers like Carlo Gambino and them, you never even knew they were alive. So some guys became famous only because their name was in the paper all the time, because they got indicted, like Joe Bonanno and people like that. Al Capone was another guy who was out there, you know, a bit too much. And he did crazy things, and so he was in the papers. The news kills you, and it breaks the whole thing up. So obviously it's not a good move. You look at the history of it, most guys were low-key. People like Tato, you never knew who he was. He didn't run around with anything fancy. You know, he had a decent car, dressed decent. But everything was under wraps, nice and quiet. When Carlo Gambino died, he told me and Charlie Boy, his son, we were both made. Stay here. I'll go. I'm representing. There's going to be a lot of media, a lot of feds. Stay here. I'm doing the I'll represent. And he went to the funeral. He made us stay away. And see, that's a guy who's thinking about that, thinking about those things, bugs, news media, all that crap, all the time. That's Cosa Nostra. That's the way you're supposed to be. I didn't feel left out. I knew what he was doing and saying. When I was with the Colombo family and there was the rally, I marched against the FBI. We walked around. There was agents hanging out of windows with binoculars and cameras and taking out pictures. You can't do that. You can't do that stuff. The outcome of that is horrendous. And John proved it. So we would have done a lot of things different, I'm sure.
Okay. El Gato says, Zu Sammy Salute. Did you ever meet with Mondo, Joey Gallo's best friend? Grazie.
Who? Chucky?
Mondo, Joey Gallo's best friend?
No, I don't think I met with him.
Okay. Frank asks, hey Sammy, where did the planes go in September 2001?
They probably were burnt and crushed into little tiny pieces. You couldn't, they smashed into a building. The building exploded. They exploded. It was probably blown into a million pieces. Then you got to remember the whole building fell. It was a pile of rubble, little pieces of things burnt to a crisp. So I think it was in the pile of rubble. They disappeared. They exploded. That's what happens.
Gas Can Lip asks, Sammy, what would you eat for snacks or nutrition for energy before whacking someone?
Snacks before we whacked somebody. I don't think I needed energy, or my adrenaline was going 100 miles an hour. I didn't need anything additional, snacks or anything like that. I mean, if the hit was going to be a while, I might have ate, but not because of the hit. Because I was hungry. I would eat something, so I don't think I ate because of the hit. I only eat when I'm hungry.
Okay, Benzo asks, if Gotti had died on the outside, who takes over?
Guess who? The underboss, me. I would have took over. I mean, there's no question about it. That's the rules of Cosa Nostra. I would have took over. Not only that's the rules of Cosa Nostra, I was well liked by most of the family, and I had the power. I was the underboss for a long time. And there's no question. I don't think there's any real legitimate question in anybody's mind that I would have been the boss.
Pizza Dave asks, any stories on Cesar Bonaventure? Bonaventure?
I really didn't know him. I knew of him. I believe he was one of the guys who did that famous hit on, I can't think of his name. It was in the backyard. You see him crumpled up on the floor with that cigar stuck in his mouth. He was one of the nephews or somebody. I think he was related to that guy. I can't think of his name right now. If one of you guys could help me with his name. He was on that. I think he was in one of the major cases as well. There were grease balls that came from Italy.
Yeah. Sicilian.
Yeah, Sicilians.
Yep.
So.
Okay. The Witness. Do you feel like the mob would have lasted longer if they were just more loyal to their members? It seems like everyone who ended up turning only turned after they said they were going to kill them, since they might turn.
There's reasons for everything, but I always looked into reasons when guys cooperate, especially tough guys. Even when I was in prison, I listened to some cartel guys that I did time with, and a couple of black guys that I talked about, and some of the guys get reasons, like, in other words, some guys go away and they get screwed around terribly. Now, it's not an excuse to flip, but You know, it makes it easier if they're really angry at what you did to them or whatever. It makes it a lot easier. And so I don't know. You know, there's all kinds of stories. Everybody has a story. You know, I've heard somebody now just recently saying that, you know, everybody's got a fucking excuse. Everybody does have a story, and it's not an excuse, it's a story. Sometimes it's an excuse, sometimes it's a story. Fat Cat Nichols is a black guy. I mean, I did time with him, and I understand why he flipped. People said he flipped before. Some black guys corrected me what I was saying. I didn't know that. I know that he killed his probation officer. He got a life sentence. He was doing his time. Then he got pinched again on a capital case for killing a cop. He told his crew not to do it. They did it, and he got pinched again. They were robbing his mother. His mother was taking over the spots. They robbed the spots. Some guys were banging his wife. I mean, when you put pressure on a guy like that, I could understand why they flip. They've had it. They're doing life. And you're going to do these things to them on top of it? And now if he was flipped before, I don't know nothing about that. And like a couple of black guys, Blaze, a friend of mine, told me, I think he was cooperating before that, Sammy. I think you're wrong. But whatever it is, I don't know about that. But I know about some of the things that happened to him in prison. And I knew him in prison. He was a pretty good guy, tough guy. He wasn't fat at all. He worked out all the time. He was a tough guy in prison. I know they threw him out of a witness unit. They put him in, I think it's Clinton prison. That's a tough prison. Everybody feared him, from what I heard. Everybody feared him. Now, to get an entire prison to fear you, you're a tough guy. So whatever you are, if you're a rat, whatever you are, you're a tough guy to get that kind of stuff. So there's stories with everybody. Then I hear stories, guys facing 10 years, 12 years, cooperated and boom, didn't even try to get a plea, get a lesser sentence. I mean, if you can't do 5, 6, 7 years, you don't belong in the fucking mafia. You don't belong in anything. That's, you know. And then there was guys who were CI. They weren't even pinched and they're ratting. So those guys, to me, that's a real rat. There's no reason for him to cooperate. Jealousy, envy, whatever his fucking reason is, that's a real rat. But at least some of these guys got some stories. I wouldn't knock everybody who cooperated.
Okay, the name that you were looking for was Carmine Galante.
Carmine Galante, exactly.
Yeah.
Carmine Galante. He was related to Carmine Galante, I believe. And there was two of them. There was him and another one, and they were real close. They both got pinched together and stuff like that. But I didn't know them personally, no.
Okay, Paul Caputo asks, hey, Sammy, can you give my buddy Giovanni a shout out? He drives a bus in Boston, is close to retirement, but is having trouble dealing with the public daily. Any advice?
Hey, guy, you're about to retire, down with the public daily. I mean, you're driving a bus, you did the right thing. It's probably a pretty good retirement there. You can get a little side job and a gig, and you could probably live real comfortable. Chill out and enjoy life.
Okay. Liam Patrick asks, hey, Sammy, could you talk about Mario Traina and your relationship with him?
Mario Traina, I believe he was a captain in the Gambino family. Pretty good guy, quiet guy. I knew him. I really didn't do too many things with him. He was a very low-key guy, but a good guy.
Okay. Last one, Boston Russo. Do you miss New York, and do you ever speak to any guys in your old crew?
Well, the guys in my old crew, most of them are dead. But I do speak to a lot of guys who are in the mob, still in the mob, survived. I got family, I got friends in New York. I don't miss New York from what it turned out to be like. I have tremendous memories of New York. I always loved Brooklyn, New York. I love the neighborhoods. I love the people. A lot of us moved to Staten Island. You know, when the Twin Towers came down, New Yorkers just came together, black, white, Hispanic, men, women, you name it, every nationality, everybody. They're beautiful people. It's a shame what it deteriorated down to with, all of these illegals coming in, they're flooding the city. I just saw a show on a woman from Arizona. She's at the airport and she has her phone. And there's thousands of people all over the place. And she's complaining for this reason. She bought a ticket to go to New York. She's online, everything going on, and half of those people are illegals. They're putting them on planes, paying for their fee, and flying them to New York. And everybody, she's got to wait online. It's a disgrace what's going on. I can't even follow it. I don't understand it. And every person I do know, family or friend, tells me, Sammy, you would hate it here. Now, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. It's a disgrace what's going on. So, but I did love New York. I grew up in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. I love the people, the neighborhood, everything about it. You could have been black, white, Hispanic. There was a camaraderie. We were friends. We were close. We argued. We fought. We were still friends. We were New Yorkers. It was that attitude. Christmas holidays, you went down the city. Didn't matter what you were, black or white or whatever, Hispanic, a man or a woman. There was a friendship. There was a thing that we were together. We were New Yorkers. So, and I think they lost that.
Okay, before I turn it over to Anna, I want everybody to know that we do ship internationally. I will drop it in the chat. I need you guys to reach out to me to let me know what items, because there's certain items that we will ship, but I have to price it out for you. So I will drop that in the chat momentarily. And that is it for last week's questions. Anna, it's over to you.
Do you want your Oreos, Amina?
Yes, please.
This girl, Sammy, she puts away probably 10,000 calories a day. I don't know where she puts it. She's shaped like a Coke
I think
bottle.
I know where a few of the people who are on there, I think they know where.
I'm so jealous. All right, Speed Racer. Hey, Sammy, have you ever been to the Mob Museum in Vegas? It's fascinating. Would you consider doing a Q&A there?
I was never at the Mob Museum. I talked with them a while ago. They wanted to do a show with me there. I agreed to do it. It was a number presented to me. I said, no, that's not going to do it. I wanted a bigger number. We talked for a while, and it was going to be a 2-day thing. One day I do a show about, there was 2 or 3 days I was going to spend there. And I thought they were pretty chintzy about their offer. They wanted to give me $5,000. I think they went up to $8,000, and I said no. I wanted $25,000. I think I would have went down to $20,000, but I wasn't doing it for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. I got to fly there, take people there. No, I didn't do it. I thought in 2 or 3 days they would have made a bundle.
Yeah,
and
true.
they didn't want to share. So I didn't do it, and I've never been there. But I know people who were there. I think even my son was there. I'm not sure. They went to Vegas, and I think they went there. I think they have things about me there, stories, and I'm on the wall and whatever.
Yeah. I won't go into the details, but yes, you're a good man, Sammy. Pizza Dave, I heard a story about Jimmy Brown's stepson who was a troublemaker. Eventually, he caused a problem with the maid guy's business, and Jimmy agreed for him to be whacked. Any insights?
I know that story well. Jimmy Brown, it wasn't his stepson. It was an adopted son. And he grew up, and he was a fucking little bit of a screwball. And I believe he hit Jimmy's wife. in an argument. I think he slapped her, or whatever he did. And he went to Paul Castellano for permission to kill him. But he didn't want to be the guy to kill him, I don't know, because of the wife, whatever. So they gave the contract to Tommy Bellotti and Joey Bellotti. Joey Bellotti and Tommy Bellotti had him in a car. They shot him in the head. The bullet went through and hit, I think it was Joey Bellotti in the hand. Because Joey Bellotti was holding his head. I think Tommy pulled the trigger, the bullet went through, hit him in the hand. And they had a funeral. Paul told everybody not to go. And later on, I had asked, why didn't we go? What happened? And I got that story. I didn't hear it firsthand, but I heard it from extremely good sources, Frankie DeChico and stuff like that. Joey Bellotti, after the Castellano hit, was put with me. I was very close with him, real good guy. I was thinking of asking him, but we don't ask those questions, so I didn't ask him. I didn't hear it from him, but I heard it. That was the story I heard. So Joey Bellotti and Tommy Bellotti killed him. And their tough guy Jimmy, he didn't do it. He pieced it out. He gave it to Paul. Paul did it with Tommy and Joey.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. It never ceases to amaze me how you can just get a question and immediately like pull it out of the filing cabinet, your brain, and just tell the story like so effortlessly and not forget anything.
Yeah, well, those are stories that I don't know why they stick with me.
Yeah.
I have a good memory for old things like that. It sticks with me. Somebody asked me what I ate for breakfast. I'll be telling you, I don't know what the fuck, if I even ate breakfast. But I remember Amina got me some eggs.
Alice. J. Marie, boss, how important is it for a boss to have a strong second in command? In my opinion, he should be as strong, if not stronger. I hope Trump picks a strong running mate. Thanks.
Yes, I think it's extremely important. I have an idea for him. I have a woman in mind who I really think is a very good woman.
Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake.
Oh, she's amazing.
She was a news person here in Arizona. And they wanted her to lie with the news. And she said no and quit. They offered her money or something to do something, and she said no. She refused it.
Yeah.
She ran for governor and lost. I don't know how she lost. Everybody loved her.
Yep.
Trump should pick her up and run for the presidency. That's her history. You couldn't get a better, smarter woman, newswoman, refused to lie, left, and then was offered bribes and refused. Her reason for refusing is not the money, it's the country. I take that money, I'm selling the country out. And it was on a lower level, like a senator or a race.
Yeah.
She wouldn't do it. And they caught the tape. Now that's a woman I would want as the Vice President of the United States.
Yeah.
He should talk to her, listen to her. She's great. Anybody like that, I would love to have somebody like that in that position. I think Trump could do a good job. I could give him advice if he wants. Where's his T-shirt? Come on,
There it
Trump.
is.
Come on, Trump. So she's great. And that's what we need. We need people, no matter what party they're in, to tell the truth. I don't want to get, political here. But we need people who care about the country. Not that they're going to bum rush that job because they're going to get power, they're going to get tons of money. Look at them all retiring in $20 million homes. They make $130,000 a year. They got a $20 million home. It's a fucking joke. It's such a joke. It's incredible. Yeah. As a mob guy, if I had a job working and making $150,000 a year, and I'm sitting in a $20 million home, I mean, the IRS, the government be all over me.
Right.
It's stupid. How did they get away with it? So we need legitimate people who care about the country, care about their reputation, care about themselves, and not just for money or greed or power. Get in there. You know, I was talking with somebody last night and said, I hope people could run as independents. It's very hard. They don't have the power, the money as the Republican or the Democrats. They don't have the juice. We need a people's party. Maybe that guy Kennedy, I think he's going to run as an independent. I don't think he could win. But I'm not crazy about the Kennedys. But him, it seems like he's very, very honest, very truthful. He's been a Democrat all his life, and he's banging the shit out of them. Yeah. He don't believe in what they're doing. I think he would be good to run. We need people like that. Without people like that, and it's us making these decisions. You know, we get Governor Newsom is going to run, and people are applauding him. This guy fucking destroyed California. California is one of the most beautiful states in the country. He destroyed it. I mean, San Francisco is a complete shithole. And we clap for them. It's our fault. We got to vote in people who care about the country. Whether they're black, white, Hispanic, they got to care. That's why I like that. What's her name there?
Carrie Lake, yeah.
Carrie Lake. I think she's great. She was offered money, a good sum of money.
Her own people, her own Republican Party,
Right.
tried to get her to step out of the race.
They wanted her to step out
Backfired.
and back somebody. She wouldn't do it.
The funny thing is they thought they were going to catch her on tape. Oh, okay, yeah, how much? And it completely backfired and caught them on tape
Right.
with the bribe and her not taking it. It's
Right.
crazy.
So I think she's a very, very honest woman.
Yeah,
I wish she would have been the governor of Arizona.
me too.
But even better yet, if he's going to run, scoop her up. She's great. She's honest, and she's tough. I heard her in one conversation. She thinks she likes Trump. She said, "If you want to go after Trump, you got to go through me." And she was tough too. So she's got to be tough all the way around, and that's what you need up on top.
Yeah.
That's why I made these shirts, Trump and Sammy. You know, people would say, you're a gangster, you're not supposed to run, you can't run. Listen, a lot of these presidents in countries, they're gangsters.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't have somebody who's a gangster up on top or a little bit of a tough guy, you're in trouble. They'll eat you up like they're doing now with Joe Biden. They're eating us up. We're a clown to the rest of the world. You want him again? Keep clapping for him. Someday this guy's going to have us in World War III, but that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to get political. I already did. I already did. I can't shut my mouth with this. Because listen, I got children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren on the way, and I can't help it. I think of them, and it just drives me nuts. How are these kids going to grow up? It's not me. I don't care myself personally. I'm 79 in another month, less than a month. This month.
Yeah.
I'm 79.
Next Tuesday.
So I'm thinking my kids, grandchildren, and I say, oh, it just gets me crazy. Let's go something.
Okay. Gas can lip. Sammy, do you have a favorite James Cagney? I seen James Cagney 1930s movie Public Enemy with my grandma before she passed away.
I love that. When he's on top of the building and he says, look, Ma, I'm on top of the world, and the whole fucking thing blows up. I love James Cagney. He was my idol growing up. I got his picture on my desk. I loved him. He was great. In everything he played and did, he was so good.
It's awesome. I remember like when I first started here and you had that big 8x10. I'm like, oh, is this dog and the kids and everybody? And I like pick it up and turn it around. It's James Cagney.
I even got the concrete thing that's hanging on the wall. That's him.
Yeah.
In the conference room. Yeah, he was my idol. He really was. You know, and he was a good man too. When he retired, he went up. He didn't want to have nothing to do with Hollywood anymore. He went up to upstate New York on a farm, him and his wife, and lived out their life. They don't want no publicity, no Hollywood, no nothing. I got enough money. And he lived like a champ. Helped a lot of people. Really a good guy, you know, but a lot of people didn't know him personally. But from what I hear, he was really, really a good guy.
Nice. That's awesome. It's the
Yeah.
way to do it. It's the way to do it. Ryan Brown. Sammy, I have a few questions for you. Did you know Big Sal Makiota? Makiota? I always butcher these.
Is Big Sal, is that the
Sal.
guy who was in the Colombo family? He was
Yes.
a captain?
Yes. In
That's
the Colombo
him?
family.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to give you a story about him. He was in a witness unit. He cooperated too. He was in a witness unit, and gas pipe, they had an argument. Gas pipe hid in a corner with a can, a heavy can. And when Sal was walking out, he jumped out and started bashing him on the head with the can. He tried to kill him. Now, Sal overpowered him a little bit because he was much bigger, heavy, big guy. And they broke it up. And then the guards came and they threw him out of that unit, gas pipe. That's how fucking crazy. You kill somebody in a fucking witness unit, another
Yeah.
guy. But that's Big Sal.
I'm going to call him Manicota. It looks like a Manicota. I can't even. Okay, do you recall who was with you at your maid ceremony? Or anybody that was made with you at your ceremony?
Well, Tato's son, Charlie Boy. There was other guys. And I, for the life of me, I thought about it 100 times. I can't remember everybody who was there. It was such a night, and me and Charlie were there. Tato was there, and I got made. And there was a lot of captains and everybody that they proposed. I think there was about 9 of us, or 10. So there was a lot of guys down in this basement. Each guy had a captain. One was like Tato had 2 guys. So you're talking about 20 guys down there. The smoke. I don't know, the whole high of things. I can't remember who was there. It was just mobs of them. And I remember what happened to me. I was so enthused and so blown away. Mm-hmm. I always, as a kid growing up, and as a teenager, and even as an adult coming out of the military, looked up to a lot of guys who were in the mob. My neighborhood was completely mobbed up. And it was some part of our heritage, and I looked up to them. So when I was getting my finger burnt, cut, taking this blood ceremony, I was on cloud 9. I just couldn't believe I was actually becoming one of them. Paul Castellano standing in front of me, I knew he was a boss. At that time, he was one of the boss of bosses. So the ceremony just blew me away. I was in a trance, and I was one of the last guys. I think I was the last guy down there. Charlie Boy went before me, and then I went down. So there was just a pack of guys around the table, and I don't remember their names. I don't remember who's who, but it was, I just remember the whole, thing, the smoke in the room and people kissing each other, congratulating one another. Mm-hmm. That's what I remember. So I don't remember the names of everybody who was there.
Nice. Okay, Gas Can Lip again in the super chat. Sammy Maigumbara, any goofy tips how to dump a woman to avoid breaking her heart like a fish tank? She is starting to be as clingy as a leech. Thanks.
Yeah. I think you just have to be honest with her and say that, it's not meant. It's, be honest with her. I don't feel the same way, and I don't want to lead you on. It'll be worse if it'll be worse. So it's better for both of us. You go find somebody, I'll find somebody. It's just not working. Because the longer you take her, if you really feel like that about her, then it's a shame if you take her down the road more and more and more. It's only going to hurt more. And it's only going to let her loose. She'll find someone else. She'll get over it. It's especially if you're young. I don't know what age you are, especially if you're young. If you're not young, it'll work anyway. She'll understand it's better for her to hear the truth. So,
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
right, right.
Matt is asking, which shooter said, "I'll see you in hell," when you told them they were going to take out Paul? He also followed up and said, if you can't name the name, that's fine too.
I can't name the name, but I've asked myself that question to remember the guy's name. It's another moment in history that when I stood there and I was talking, we're going to kill the boss of bosses. I mean, I'm in another zone at this point. It's hard to really explain. And when I was talking like that and he said that, it was a bunch of guys standing there. And he said that to me. It blew me away. And I turned to everybody else. I said, you heard him? I want everybody to feel that way. We'll all meet in fucking hell. And it just overtook me. For the life of me, I can't remember his name.
Okay. Giovanni, Sammy, I'd love to see a sit down with you and Jordan Belfort in the future. It would be very interesting.
Who?
Jordan Belfort, he's the guy that Wolf of Wall Street is based after.
Yeah, I would sit with him and talk with him. I don't know him, but I would sit with him
Nice.
if he wanted to sit with me and talk.
Awesome. Grow with Joe. Hey, Sammy, was wondering if you knew my uncle from the Lucchese family, Joe the Crow del Vecchio. Hope you can answer, and I love what you do.
Joe the Crow. Now, the name sounds familiar. I can't picture the guy. I don't remember. But the name does sound familiar. So, obviously, I may have heard of him and not done anything with him. But I can't recall who he is or me doing anything with him. But the name is familiar.
Awesome. Thank you, Sammy. J. Marie, is getting sent for unexpectedly really as nerve-wracking as Lefty from Donnie Brasco made it out to be? Is there a reason to be scared or nervous when you're sent for unexpectedly?
No, I don't think so. It's your own mind. I never lied to my friends and my people. I never backstabbed. I never did things. So I was never worried. I didn't feel like I deserved to be killed for any reason. So I didn't feel that way. I mean, if you did things that weren't kosher, so to speak, or you backstabbed somebody, or you lied in situations, or you did something horrible, you would be worried. That's your own mind. So I really didn't have that problem because I didn't have that. I didn't do anything to warrant it. Now, you could get hit sometimes for some other bullshit reason. That's the life. If you walked into it that way, but usually a guy worries about it, because there's so many sit-downs, so many things, so many beefs, so I could get called and not know exactly what the beef is. So Tato or somebody could call me in. Depends on who's calling me in, too. If Roy DeMeo wants to see me on a sneak somewhere, maybe I'll be a little on guard to that. But if Tato or Paul or somebody I knew, my guys or somebody wanted to see me, no, I went right into those meetings with no fear whatsoever. But I did have an idea most of the times why I was going to a meeting. It was a sit down, it was something. But there's a lot of times people wanted to see me or talk to me, they had maybe a problem or something. So I don't know the problem until I go there. But you're exposed to that in the life. You can't walk around worried or scared all the time. I mean, if you do, I don't think you belong in the life. But it depends on who's calling you. But if it's your people calling you in, and even if it's a stranger, why would this guy hit me? For what? I didn't do anything to him. So I'm not worried about him. You know, maybe I would always go with a guy or two. That was just generally the way I moved anyway. So no, I really wasn't that nervous about going into meetings. Some of them are a little scary. I mean, you know, when I was in trouble with Paul Castellano with this fucking Plaza Suite hit, I was a little concerned that the guy didn't want to even meet with me. That's concerning. You know, then what's on his mind? If he's super mad and he's saying it's an off the record hit, that's bothering me a little bit. You know, more than a little bit, to be honest. But that's part of the life. So, you know, if I'm going to walk into something and I did something, I'm going to go, that's the life.
Damn. Yeah, I remember the movie where Al Pacino's character, he like left his money at home. He took off all his jewelry before he left, and he
That's
like
Sonny Black
That's Lefty that Al Pacino played
in
Lefty.
that movie. Yeah. But this guy knew he did something wrong.
Yeah.
He brought in an FBI agent undercover, and he exposed him to the whole family.
Right.
He knows he's dead. He knows he's in trouble. So when he's called into a meeting, yes, he left his ring, he left his money, probably saying, listen, if I don't come back, it's yours. I mean, he knows he's in trouble. So if you do something like that, you kind of know you can go. You should go in a situation like that. And here's the reason why. I felt bad for the guy, and he took it like a fucking man. He walked in, he left his stuff and walked in. He knew he was going to get hit. But when they had this with Lefty guns, the only thing that saved him is he went to prison. When he came out, he was so old, he died. They never killed him. But you're talking to a guy in a bar. He's got jewelry, he's got this, he's got that. Who the fuck is he? You got to ask him. You know, yeah, that's great, I'll buy it. Maybe you'll get arrested. Once you start bringing him around, you got to say, you know, what school did you go to? Who did you hang out with? Did you ever get pinched? Did you ever do anything? You got to ask him a question. What if this guy just fall out of the fucking sky? He's an FBI agent. He's got no history. You got to find that out. And if a guy don't have history, I don't want him around me. I don't give a fuck what he has. I'm going to... Why did he come to me with all these things? All of a sudden, he's got jewelry scores, he's got this, he's got that. None of those things rang a bell with them. Greed. They saw money and they were blind. And that's how this guy got into so many different people. And once he's got credibility of being around Sonny and Lefty Guns and people like that who've been established, you know, you come around me and you're walking around me, he's with Sammy, he's accepted. So if he's bad and I brought him around, I hurt everybody. They got to kill me. So I'm going to find out who the fuck listen, I have a guy, Joey Senna, was a friend of mine growing up as a kid in the Ramparts. Tough kid. He got a 15-year sentence for drugs. He went to prison. He got out. He did about 12 years. One day in Tally's, one of the guys came over that said, Sammy, some guy is in the front, wants to talk to you. He says his name is Joey Senna and you know him. Oh, yeah, I know him. So I went there, hey, Joey, how are you? Knew his mother. How's your mother? Good. He said, I said, how you doing? I got hooked and I got about $5,000. So get $5,000 in an envelope and bring it to me. So I was talking with him and he said, Sammy, I hear so many good things about you. You've got to, very important. And I gave him the envelope. I said, put this in your pocket. I know you just got home and maybe this will help you a little bit. Oh, thank you so much. I want to be with you. Now, I knew him, and I liked him. And I said, Joey, I can't, bro. I got a whole crew with me. I haven't seen you for fucking 12 years. And I heard that you took some drugs in prison. Yeah, but I'm clean. Yeah, I know. But you're doing drugs, then you took drugs in prison. I don't know that much about you. For all I know, you might be wired right now. I have no idea. I'm not saying you are. Not telling you I want to search you or anything like that. I always thought you were a good kid, but good friend. I can't take you in that quick. Hang around the neighborhood. I'll hear everything, what you do and what you're doing. If you're in trouble, you could always come to me. I'll help you if you're in trouble. But I can't take you in my crew. I can't expose my crew to anybody. Even though I know you, I love you, we're friends for 100 years, I can't do it, bro. So just hang out, go about your business. You could be with somebody else. But if you do the right thing, sooner or later, maybe we could be together again. And I think I did the right thing. I have to protect my people. So, and that, I don't understand why they didn't do that with this undercover agent who came out of nowhere. He came from, I call it Mars. Came from Mars. Nobody knows him. He didn't go to school with nobody. He didn't go out with any girls. Nobody knows him. If nobody knows him, I don't want to know him. I got enough friends, thank you. I don't want to take a walk. That type of thing. So you have to do that. You have to protect your people, your friends. And no money is going to change that. You got jewelry. Now, if I want to take a shot with the jewelry, it's me and him. He could put me in jail. I'm a jerk off. I did it, but it's me and him. But to bring him in and show him off and do things and expand things and whatever, you know, he started with some bullshit with jewelry. Then he went to, I got a guy in Florida who has a club. We can take it over. He went to that club. That club was ex-FBI agents who own it, and they had bugs and everything all over the fucking place. They all got fucked up. And he's giving them money. It's government money and jewelry and whatever. And they're all dead. And that's what happened in that family. If they would have just stopped. Lefty Guns was a good guy, a great guy. He's my daughter's friend Ramona's grandfather. He was a great guy, a brokester. He was broke because he always gambled a lot. And he made a mistake by not asking, who the fuck are you? Who's your mother? Who's your father? Who's your sister? Who's your brother? What school did you go to? What girls did you go out with? Nobody? Bro, those are fucking things you gotta stop. You know, that's why they were in trouble. And Lefty Guns brought him to Sonny, who was his captain. And they loved him. He played the part good, real good. You know, he played the part so good, I heard from FBI agents years after I cooperated. Him and his wife, I think, almost broke up, or they did break up, because when he was playing this all the time. When he did go home to his wife, he didn't act like an agent no more.
Wow.
He almost like became like a gangster. And she complained about it. You're not treating me right anymore. You're not talking right anymore. He actually became one mentally. It's a strange story, but it's true. So that he really played the part good. He became the part.
Wow.
That's how he lasted so long doing it, got away with it, and the strength of them. And that Sonny Black, he knew he fucked up and walked into the murder.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, Elgato, salute Sammy. How different could all the legal problems have been if the news media wasn't weaponized against you all, Cosa Nostra?
Yeah, the news media for us guys is the worst thing in the world. If you're a crook, anybody in a gang, anybody. Everybody likes to be a little famous, I think. We all have that little bit in us. But when you're in that life, you can't be famous. You got to be undercover. You don't exist. Because when you exist and you're flashing money and this and that, guess who's watching this? agents, cops, people, government officials, other people, legitimate people are talking about you. You're not going to last. You just cut your whole fucking lifespan in more than half. You can't do it. It doesn't work. And John Gotti proved it. Destroyed him. He destroyed himself, and he destroyed a lot of people around him. Not meaning it, but that's what when you do that kind of shit, that's what happens.
Wow. Okay, let's see. We got a lot of super chats, Sammy. Let me just go back up to the tippy top. Ellie wanted to send you an envelope. No comment, no question. Just a weekly kick up to the boss.
Thank you, bro.
Ellie also wants to know, Sammy, who were the Brownsville boys?
Brownsville? I don't know.
Gas Can Lip back in the super chat. Sammy, do you have any ghost, occult, space alien, or cryptozoology stories? Do you believe in all that stuff?
And ghosts, read them off again.
Ghost, the occult, like Illuminati and like those kind of things.
Yeah.
Or like witches and like all that stuff. Space aliens or cryptozoology, like mythical creatures and the Mothman prophecies. Wasn't the Mothman in New Jersey? Like
the
or like
Mothman?
The Mothman or the Chupacabra?
I don't know. Listen, some of those things I don't ride with that stuff too much, but some of them things I think like Illuminati and the devil worshipping, they exist. I believe they exist. Do I believe that there's life on another planet that started this whole thing and stuff like that? I think there is a very, very strong possibility of that. I've heard Elon Musk talking about it. He's going out of space and doing things, and I believe that there is a strong possibility of those things. They built those
pyramids.
Huh?
The pyramids?
The pyramids. The things weigh 20, 30 tons. You know how many? That's 50, 60, 70,000 pounds. How the fuck did they put them one on top of the other? And they're always, all the artwork they have, there's somebody always pointing up.
Yeah.
They're either pointing up at God or spaceships or whatever. I don't know what they're pointing at. There's a possibility. I always wondered, how did life start? We have scientists. We go back to prehistoric ages. The first people that we know exists on the planet were from Africa. They're 250,000 years ago, something like that. I think they were all black people, and they started migrating into different areas, different zones. Different people had different skin colors and stuff like that. So if all of that happened, how did that happen? And religious people will tell me from God. All right. So maybe there's a God. Maybe there's people from another planet. I'm open to all different ideas. I don't close it out that easily. So I do, think about that. I haven't had any experiences with them. I welcome them. If they're listening in, you can come and visit me. We could talk about it. If you're from Mars or wherever you're from. So, but it's a very interesting topic.
Yeah, Cat Williams was on Joe Rogan, and that's exactly what he just said.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's possibilities you never know. Some people are great. Some, so talented. Who was that guy? The basketball player. He would fly in the air.
Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan. Literally, I watched him play basketball. He's bouncing the ball, and then he jumps. He was floating. It looked like he was flying. I mean, he was floating in midair for a long time before he plopped it in and came down. I said, that guy's not human.
Yeah.
How the fuck can he do that? I mean, he's a great basketball player. Yeah. But when I watched him, I said, oh my God. He's great, but it's beyond great. It looked abnormal to me.
Yeah.
So, I'm a small guy. I can't play basketball, but.
Well, they say that the old Tallies is haunted. And I mean, we've seen some stuff around the office we can't explain. I don't know if we should put it on your social, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's this and there's crazy things that happen. You know, I did a thing about God when I had when the pandemic was out and I got the COVID virus, and I was really, really fucked up with it. I got that 2-3 days after I tested positive, and I was sick as a dog. I got pneumonia. A couple of days later, I got this shingles, and I was gone. And I heard a voice one night, and it said, Sammy, don't be scared. And I answered. I was in bed, and I said, I'm not scared. But I'm looking around. Who the fuck is talking to me? Nobody was with me.
Like it sounded somebody was like sitting next to you.
It sounded, no, in the same room.
Oh my God.
I said, I'm not scared. And it says, don't be scared, just be you. And I said, who are you? And it was over. And I didn't want to talk about it because I thought, you know, people say, hey, he's a freak, or he's freaking out, or
crazy. It's
he's
cool.
Lost his mind, or some fucking thing. So, but then I did it, and I said it, and it was weird. It was the weirdest thing that ever happened. From that day on, I started getting better and better every day, and nice things, good things were starting to happen. And I would pray to God, and I would say, God, you know, I was saved a lot of times. I think I'm on my 9th or 10th life. I was shot a few times, stabbed once. I mean, cancer 3 times. And I said, God, if there's a purpose that you're keeping me alive, at least tell me what it is. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to be? What do you want me to do? But I never got an answer. So
I think this.
I don't know.
You are.
Sometimes there's these freaky things that happen to people. It happened to me that. So I believe a lot of these things that happen.
I think you are getting your answer. I think you are getting your answer. There's a lot of dreams coming true.
Things are happening. You know that. Nice things are happening.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. Maybe that's my answer, is to do what I'm doing and going ahead and doing the right thing. I try to do the right thing with people, most people. And whatever it is going to be, it's going to be. I know we're getting to the end. I'm 79. And, you know, I'd be lucky to get another 10 years. I say, you know, I would make a deal right now and say, give me to 85, 86. I make a deal. Perfectly healthy, and you could take me. I'll make a deal. I'll make a deal right now for 85, 86.
Sammy, don't talk like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look
But
at here.
You never know. When you get up in age at a certain point, you never know what's going to happen. And most of the older people that are on this, they know the same thing. Once you hit a certain age, 79, 80, it could happen like this. Who knows?
Well, JN just super chatted in a very generous envelope, and oh wow, 3 envelopes. He said, "Good afternoon, Mr. Gravano. I will not bore or torment you or your listeners with my background, but you saved my life in ways that you will never know, and I thank you, Sammy."
Thank you so much. I'm glad I can do that with certain people in certain situations. It's a tremendous, you know, since I've changed my life, it's such a beautiful thing to hear, and I'm very proud of it. And you don't have, you know, you would never bore me. I appreciate what you just said.
Vinny Detroit. Hello, Sammy. You inspire me in so many ways. I thank you so much. Much love and respect to you and the team.
Thank you, bro.
Brava. Hi, Sammy. Sending my regards from Orange County, California. My question is, did you ever cross paths with Kenneth Supreme McGriff?
With who?
Kenneth Supreme McGriff.
Supreme? Is it the Supreme, the black guy?
Brava, is it the black guy? Probably. McGriff. Kenneth McGriff. Supreme.
I don't
his
know.
nickname.
Supreme, listen, I did time in MCC where somebody was ratting on Supreme. And Supreme, made some sort of a hookup that two black guys were gonna come up on a visit for this guy who was ratting and talk to him. And he made that connection. I don't know how it happened, but it did happen. And the two guys came in the visiting room. They were Supreme's guys. And on a visit, you can't come in with a weapon or anything, but they came in under false names. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they pulled it off, and they talked to him. And when the guy came out, he was on the 3rd floor, which most of the guys on the 3rd floor were cooperating. And when he came out, I talked to him. And he told me, he says, they were offering me money, they were offering me this, not to testify and to do this, that, and the other thing. And I said, wow, how'd they pull this off? They came right in the fucking prison. And he said, under false names. It was, I think, not the unit manager, but somebody on a high official made it happen. Recognized it, approved it under this fake shit. And I asked him, what are you going to do? He says, I don't know. I think that no matter what I do, Supreme, he was telling me, is a super tough guy. No matter what I do, if I accept it and I don't testify, he'll still kill me. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And I said, all right, listen, I don't want to even get in the conversation. But that's the first time I ever heard of Supreme, and he pulled this whole maneuver off. I think he did get convicted and go away. I'm not sure if the guy did testify. I never asked. I didn't want to get in the middle of it. So I did hear of him.
Nice, thank you. Elgato in the super chat again. Why did Joey Gallo thought he could win the war? Was it the drugs he was on? Grazie.
Now, Joey Gallo, in the Colombo family you're talking about, I don't know why he thought he could win the war. I mean, he thought he had things coming. The war ended. It was time to quit. And there was a new boss. Joe Colombo was the boss at that time. This is a new boss. This is a guy who was forgiving with both sides and wanted to stop the whole thing. So you had a shot to stop it. I don't know if he didn't buy it or he still thought he had the power of the guys he had left. He still had a big crew, strong crew. I don't know. He was fucking around with Hollywood people, broads, and maybe he was just a little nuts. He wouldn't stop.
Thank you, Sammy. Liam Patrick in the super chat. Hey, Sammy, what did you think when John ordered the Jersey family to remake all their made guys?
When John ordered the Jersey family to remake all their guys?
All their made guys.
I never heard that.
Same. Trick question, Liam. Gascan Lip, did you hear any good stories about the mafia during World War II working for the government, protecting the docks from the Axis powers? Ooh, I think that was on Jeopardy last night.
Yeah, say it one more time.
Do you hear any good stories about the mafia during World War II that they were working for the government?
Yes, enough. Lucky Luciano did that himself. He was in prison. He got a 45-year sentence. He talked with the government. They talked with him. He had control over the piers in Italy and some control over the piers in the United States. He opened up the piers in the United States and in Italy so that our troops from the United States could invade quietly at night through the piers. Why he did that is most of the Italians hated Hitler and fascism. So it's not that he was cooperating with the government, that he was an informant, but he worked with them to invade. Invading Italy through the piers, they would go in and destroy Mussolini. Mussolini was the head of Italy, and he made a deal with Hitler. They hated Mussolini for it. So they wanted to kill him. If they didn't go that way, they would have bombed Italy. And he didn't want the people to be bombed with planes and bombs and kill many, 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 many Italians. So he opened that up. He made a deal. He opened that up. They could invade. The mafiosos in Italy would listen to him, allow the troops to come in and invade. So that was part of, they won the battle in Italy. They won the war. They got rid of Mussolini. And him, for his war efforts, was pardoned from his 45-year sentence. He was told, you can leave. I don't know how many years he did. You can leave the country, go back to Sicily, stay there. No, you can't come back. But you're done with your time. So they pardoned him for that reason. And there was many, many Italians, especially mafiosos, who went against Mussolini. There's many, many stories. I'm talking to people right now about doing the history of the mafia. And I know all those stories. And like I did my original podcast, I want to do the history of the mafia. But I want a couple of people I'm trying to get in with me to work with me and do it. I have a ton of knowledge. I've learned so much through Tato, who was born in 1902. He goes back, way back. And I listened to him like a little puppy my whole mafia career. And I want to go with, I don't want to mention their names, but I'm trying to get a couple of people to work with me to be on it, who have just as much, if not more knowledge than me. And I want to talk to another person that I'm working with who does a tremendous researcher. You may realize who I'm talking about. And I would do it with them and do the history of the mafia. I think it should be told because it has such an impact on not only Italy, not only the United States, but the whole world in reality. And I think colleges and universities would love this information. Good information, not bullshit, straight up stories. There's things that I know and I've learned through Tato. I actually think I know a lot about the JFK assassination. Now, I know a little bit. Then me and Tato would talk about it. I never realized how close Tato was with with Carlo Gambino, and I never knew that Tato, after the murder of
Albert Anastasia.
Tommy Rava was the most powerful captain. He was going to take over. He had Fat Andy, Tony Lee, Neil Delacroce, Tato. All of those guys were under him, and they did the work. So Tommy Rava was going to take over. Carlo Gambino and Tato were like this. And he told Tato, before the war even starts, take him out. He always wanted to hurt Carlo Gambino, Tommy Rava. And Tato agreed and took out Tommy Rava and another guy. There was an informant who told the government, very high guy, they didn't pinch Tato because they didn't want to release his name. And when they were going to take out Kennedy, Sam Giancana and a few other big names sent word to Carlo Gambino, who took over as the boss and became the boss of bosses. And they asked for his blessings and his advice. Now, I've just come to know or realized, who did he go to and talk to? Carlo Gambino. My Tato. Called him in. It was his right-hand man. So when Tato was talking to me and I was a pup, he wasn't talking about hearsay bullshit. He was talking about what he actually knew. He didn't say he knew it. He never admitted to me that he killed Tommy Rava, and that's Cosa Nostra. He's not supposed to. But I realize now what happened. And what really blew my mind, I told this story once or twice, that the FBI came to me when I was in Quantico and said, you know, this is a big meeting. Serious meeting, Sammy, no playing around. I said, yeah, no problem. And these FBI people came in and told me, Sammy, tell me what you know about the hit on JFK, John Kennedy. And I said, are you kidding? You guys did it. The CIA, things like that. They said, hold up this meeting. Scrub the notes. We were never here. And they walked out. Now, I told that. I thought it was funny. I don't think it's funny anymore. I'll tell you why. Here's what hit me now. When they came to me, why in the fuck would they come to me and talk to me about it? Mm-hmm. Because they knew of Tato's closeness with Carlo Gambino. They knew me and Tato were close. And they were trying to find out what I knew personally. Because I did say I knew who killed Mal Monroe and a few other things. And obviously, they were afraid, not of me, of Tato. What did Tato tell me? So I think I know a lot about this hit that took place. And it'll come up in the history of the Mafia when I talk about it. Probably come up in my show, no doubt about it. In my scripted show when it comes out in Hollywood. So there's things I know, and it took, you know, people say, well, he never said that. He never mentioned that. It took time for, I did an interview with Diane Sawyer when I first got out. Did I tell her everything? No. I answered her questions and left things out. I was a little nervous. That was my first thing out of prison. In my book, did I tell every little thing to Peter Moss? No. I told him what I told him. It's my story. Not every little fact. It wasn't that important anyway. And sometimes you forget things. You're talking to me about things that happened 50, 60 years ago. And sometimes you go forward and you find out something, like finding out that Tato killed Tommy Rava. And the government come in and asking me those questions. And now I sit down and say, oh my God, this fucking all fits. I know half the story, maybe more than half the story. So it takes time sometimes to do things. I'll give you another example. I was talking to my friend Louise, and I said something, and she said, no, don't you remember A, B, C happened? And I said, oh my God, I'll be goddamn. I didn't remember that. You know, sometimes somebody opens up or says something and opens up your mind to a whole bunch of things. Now, I'm not a computer and I'm not a machine. Even the people now in Hollywood say, I mean, what happen when 60-something years ago. Here's what I remember. Here's what happened. I was asked another question. That day when you did XYZ, what was the weather like? What? What was the weather like? Well, it was in the winter, so it was cold. Yeah, but was it raining? Was it snowing? What the fuck do I know? You're asking me a question that happened 63 years ago. Right. Are you kidding? How the fuck am I going to remember if it was raining or snow? And then I wound up sitting down after the phone call was gone. And I do remember that it was fucking snowing a little bit. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Now, if I was to tell the story, I would never even think of what the weather was. So I'm not going to say it. It wouldn't even come to my mind. But when somebody's asking me, and I said, yeah, I think it's cold. It was cold. And I said, no, I don't know if it was raining or snow. How the fuck would I know that? 63 years ago. And I walked away and hung up. And for the life of me, I actually drive myself crazy trying to think. And I remember it was a light snow coming down, and I do remember it. But I would have never said it. I would never remember it if this fucking guy wasn't asking me that particular question. So, you know, it's a weird thing. How did I get into this whole thing? Who got me into this? Give me his fucking name.
The gas can lip with the World War II protecting the docks.
That's some fucking question. You got more out of me, bro, than people in Hollywood and everybody else got me with that question. It got me carried away.
Only Sammy could answer. And that's some of the things why the guys over there that were just said it was remarkable how you can recall things. And that's what, it just makes you the whole package. Like nobody can do what you do in this genre. And
listen, I'm not, I guess, there's a lot of times you just don't remember certain things, especially when you go back a lot of years. Some of the real important things, even though that's pretty important, but it happened in stages for me to remember the whole thing and remember who said what. Oh, that's why he was saying that. It takes a lot to remember all of that. But sometimes it comes together, it snaps together. Some of the bigger things are real easy to remember. So,
I mean, it can't be lost upon you that two of the best storytellers in the world in history tell you you're one of the best storytellers they've ever seen.
Yeah, and she's talking about some of the people in Hollywood, and these people are brilliant.
Yeah.
When I tell you brilliant. Could I tell him what he told me about Peruta?
Yes, yeah.
This guy is so brilliant. We were sitting at a table and we were talking, and a story came up about Peruta and how the old man, was really, really close to me. I loved him. And he asked me to, I don't want to die like this, Sammy, of cancer. I don't want to die like this. He said, Sammy, please kill me. Put a bullet in my head. That's the way I want to die. And I told him, I said, Joe, I can't, bro. I could never pull the trigger. I love you. He told me, he said, Sammy, I did a lot of things with you. You could. I never asked you for a favor. I'm asking you for this favor. I did go back. I got him made while he was dying in bed. I asked permission from John. I got permission. I made him. I wanted him to die with that honor. Now he's asking me to kill him. I went to John and I asked John, through Gene Gotti, I think it was, for permission to kill my friend. He sent word back that we don't do
mercy killings.
Mercy killings. You made him? No. The answer is no. I was relieved, actually. And I went to him and I said, I asked John, and he said no. So I can't. He said, Sammy, I don't give a fuck about John. I never did. I don't even like him. I loved you. I did everything for you. And I'm asking you, as my friend, to kill me. It tore me up. I left the house, and I thought about it. And I went back to see him, and I told him, Joe, I'm going to do it. You're right. Fuck John. I'm going to do it. You got to get everybody out of the house on a certain day. You'll work with my brother-in-law already, and whoever. And you stay in the back room. There's the back door. I'll come in the back. I'll hug you. I'll give you a little kiss on the cheek. And I'll kill you. And I left. I went home, and I was sitting around, and my wife, she'll remember this if she's listening. She said, what's the matter? I said, listen, I told you 100 times, don't ask me questions. What's the matter? My best fucking friend is dying. Isn't that enough? Don't ask me fucking questions. I got grumpy. There was no reason for me to get grumpy, but I did. And I got a gun and I got a silencer. And I was going to kill one of my best friends because he wanted to die that way. And I stood there the next day when it was getting done, and I was waiting for the call that his house was empty, cleared. He was in the back, and I would go. I had the gun on me with the silencer. And my wife says, there's Eddie on the phone. He wants to talk to you. I got the phone, and I said, is everything clear? He said, Sammy, you didn't hear? I didn't hear what? He said, it took a turn for the worst. They rushed him to the hospital this morning. He died in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. I was relieved I didn't have to kill him. But I felt guilt for such a long time. This man was so close to me, did anything I wanted. He asked me for a fucking favor, and I didn't do it. He didn't die the way he wanted to die. And I always held that, as crazy as it may sound, as like, I feel guilty about it. I should have killed him. The guy I was talking to, one of the guys who was doing my scripted show, is saying, Sammy, don't you know what happened? And I was sitting there, she's nodding. Mm-hmm. I said, what are you talking, what happened? He said, he loved you. And he got you off the hook. As soon as you told him you were going to kill him, he knew you were breaking a rule. He gave up his life for you. He gave up. And he went on the way to the hospital. His will to live went away. And he wanted to take his own life. He didn't want you to kill him. I actually thought that's the fucking craziest thing I've ever heard. But it's such a beautiful thing what he said. Mm-hmm. It made me feel good for a second. The guilt that I felt went away. And these are the people I'm working with. How brilliant they are to say something like that. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's what it is. But it's something I loved hearing.
Yeah.
So, how did I get into this conversation?
Oh man!
Who brought me into this?
Oh, it's and his wife is a tremendous writer as well, and they both said at the same time, he did it for you. He did it for you. He went away so you didn't have to pull the trigger on your friend.
Right.
That insight is like on it is so deep.
It's so deep. It's so beautiful. It was an incredible thing, and I loved talking with these people. These are people who are going to be writing on my scripted show. Mm-hmm. They're so talented. They're so beautiful. They're great, great people. Mm-hmm. I can't say their names right now. I wish I could.
Soon enough.
And it'll come time I will say their names, everybody who's involved, and stuff like that. We're still working on all of that. So we'll see coming down the road. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine when the scripted show comes out, all you guys are going to be asking me, what's in next week's episode? A lot of things I'm not going to be able to answer you. But,
It's going to be good.
all right.
Oh, so we've been on for almost 2 hours, Sammy. That just flew by. So we'll save, guys, if I see all of you guys in there, Mets fan, John 33, Ellie, everybody, I see you. We're going to do at the top of next week's live, which is Sammy's birthday party live stream. So, Sammy, I'll end it with Miss Betty Ann. Sammy, heart, 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 lots of hearts. Sammy's Dear John relationship advice. I hope you have a great life without me in it. Laughy. She's got like 20 laughy faces.
All right. I'll try and have a great life.
Aw.
Oh,
You don't have to try. You do have a great life, Sammy.
I will.
You have an amazing life. All right.
Adios, my motherfuckers.